So that means speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So vak is speech.
Right.
Vyakta without the prefix means spoken. It also means manifest because the whole creation is manifest in speech. And avyakta means not spoken, not manifest. So my understanding is Vladimir's back. You're back on now, Vladimir. So is
resolve the problem. So go ahead.
You resolve the problem? Yeah. So could we say the avyakta is also the akshara, and vyakta is the kshara, perishable. Is it fair to make that equivalence? It's just
Of course.
Point of view. Okay.
And the Vayu?
Why is so important for you? Just tell me why, and then I will know what you want from Vayu.
Because Vayu is such a force out here. Vayu, with its contextual force of aggregation and separation, attraction and repulsion. Oh, is it that Vayu is doing this action?
Yeah,
Of
it's
the
a vital force which connects heaven and earth.
I get it now.
Okay, lovely.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you for this.
I'm so stressed out thinking of this.
What's this? Why are you doing there?
It's a very big
Matarishva, Pavamana, Vayu Pavamana is yajna. Everything is happening within this realm, all the changes, all the interactions, all the creation is taking place in this manifested world. So lovely, we are resolved, and so we can come back to the text. Thank you for being kind of patient with this. So we stopped at number 11. I will read through this text today because it's only 20 shlokas, and then we will discuss more and read from Sri Aurobindo more. Yatoto yoginaschainam pashyantiyatmanyavasthitam yatantopya kritatmano nainam pashyantya chetasach. Yatantach are those who are aspiring. How to put it, how Sri Aurobindo puts yogins, striving, who strive. The aspiring yoginach, to him, pashyanti atmani, see in themselves avasthitam, established, yatantach api akritatmanach, whose atman is not realized, but aspiring ones. Nainam pashyanti, they don't see him, achetasach, because they don't have that consciousness of the Atman. Yeah? The yogins who strive see the Lord in themselves, but though they strive to do so, the ignorant perceive him not, as they are not formed in the spiritual mold. Yeah? Akritatmanach, whose Atman is not realized. And then, Yad Aditya Gatam Tejo Jagat Bhasayate Khilam Yat Chandramasi Yat Chagnao Tat Tejo Vidhi Mamakam. It's very similar to Katha Upanishad. That Tejas, that light, which is coming from Aditya, from the sun, Jagat Bhasayate, illumines the whole world, Akhilam, without remainder. Yat, and that which is in the moon, Chandramasi, and that which is in Agni, that Tejas, that light, know as my light. In Katha Upanishad, it is said that everything is shining by the light of the Supreme. Yeah? Everything is only reflecting his light in this world. Then, Gam avishya chabhutani dharayam yaham ojasa pushnami chai chaushadhih sarvah, somo bhutva rasatmakah. I, having entered Gam, the cow literally, but Sri Aurobindo translates as earth, because Gau can be also many things, and also light of consciousness. If we translate there as the light of consciousness, having entered the ray of light, I support the Harayam Yaham, all the Bhutani, all the creatures with my force, Ojasa. Pushnami Chaushadhih Sarvah, and I, nourish or what should have been sustain by my might the multitudes. That is the first phrase. I am the Godhead Soma who by rasa nourishes. He is using nourishes. Pushnami, I nourish all the greenery. Aushadhih Sarvah, yeah. Somo bhutva, having become Soma, rasatmakah. The sap of, or the quintessential sap. Having become Soma quintessential sap, I support all the greenery, yeah? Or nourish all the greenery. Nourish means they grow, food grows, everything grows and evolves. So you see, he's speaking about himself as the one present in the nature. Like we saw this in the Vibhuti Yoga 10th chapter, where he speaks that he is the light in the sun, the heat in the fire, the knowledge in the knowledgeable one, and so on. He is all the qualities in nature. And then, aham Vaishvanaro bhutva, I became, having become Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara is the Agni, which is partaking of gross things, of this material world. Praninam deham ashritach, I stay in the living creatures, in the body. Pranapana samayuktach, having connected, or being kind of harmonizing the breathing in and breathing out. Pacham yanam chaturvidam, I cook the food. Cook the food means I digest the food within them. Chaturvidam, of 4 kinds. And what are the 4 kinds? The gross food which can be eaten, chewed, which can be sucked out like milk, which can be leaked also, and which will be can be drunk. Yeah. Drunk, leaked, sucked, and chewed. These 4 types of food I cook within the being, having become Vaishvanara. Vaishvanara is the fire which actually supports this material manifestation. Yeah? The fire in the stomach. In the Ayurveda, yes, that samana fire, which digests all the food. Can you imagine? We are still eating food. We still have to put into something inside, and the fire will digest and put all the energy into our system for us to live. Otherwise that fire will eat us up. We will die from hunger. We will become very thin, incapable of moving. There will be nothing for fire to eat, so it will eat our own body. So this is Vaishvanara, which is constantly burning and has to be supported all the time. That's why we have to eat. Can't live without eating yet. Sarvasya chaham hridi samnivishtach matach smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvaich aham eva vedyach vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. Of all I am in the heart samnivishtach. entered in the heart or settled within the heart. Matach, from me, smritich, memory, jnanam, knowledge, and apohanam, forgetfulness or absence of both, of knowledge and memory. From me, everything. Vedaishcha sarvaich, by all the Vedas, aham eva vedya, I should be indeed known by all the Vedas. Vedanta Krit, I am the creator of Vedanta, of the Upanishads. Vedavid, the knowledge of the knower of the Veda. Eva Chaham, I am indeed. Notice that he is Vedavid, knower of the Veda, but Vedanta Krit, the creator of Vedanta. He is not Veda Krit. He didn't create Vedas, because Vedas are considered to be never created, the eternal, Apaurusheya. But you can create Vedanta, you can create Upanishads. Dvau imau purushau loke, ksharashchakshara eva cha hevikam, ksharach sarvani bhutani kutachstach kshara uchyate, akshara uchyate. Two purushas in this world, kshara, what we call mutable or destructible, and akshara, indestructible, immutable. Ksharach sarvani bhutani, ksharach are all the beings in the world. Kutachstach akshara uchyate, and the one who is on the top or beyond is immutable. That is avyakta purusha. Yeah? Avyakta or akshara, both. Yeah? Avyakta is the level of non-manifestation. Avyakta, non-manifest, unmanifest. We will come back to Sri Aurobindo's comments. But now he says in number 17, Uttamah purushas tvanyah param atma ityudahritah yo lokatrayam avishya bibharti avyaya ishvarah. But the highest supreme Uttamah purushah, tu anyah, is indeed different. But the highest Purusha, the Supreme Purusha, is other. Paramatma ityudahritah. It is called as the Supreme Self. Yolokatrayam avishya, who having entered into three worlds, bibharti, supports them, avyayah ishvarah, indestructible, imperishable Ishvara, Lord. Yasmat ksharam atitoham aksharad abhichottamah atosmi loke vedecha prathitach purushottamah. This is his declaration of who he is. Yasmat ksharam atitoham, from the kshara of which I am higher. Aksharada pichottamah. I am higher also from the akshara. So since I am beyond the mutable and am greater and higher even than the immutable in the world and the Veda, loke vedecha prathitach, proclaimed as Purushottama. I am known as Purushottama. So this was for me the greatest revelation ever, because I studied Buddhism before, Zen Buddhism, mystic Christianity, mystics and Greeks, and all philosophy, occultism, Judaism, Kabbalah, everything. But this, when I read this chapter, especially this part, Sri Aurobindo has a beautiful article, the whole chapter dedicated to the Purushottama, three Purushas, it's called, in the essays on the Gita. Then I understood there is someone which is transcendental to the transcendental. Transcendental is not the whole thing. I thought that Satchitananda would be enough to really be, to create the world. It seems it is not. There is someone which is beyond Satchitananda, who is Satchitananda in this world, and none of them separately or exclusively. He is the one who is these worlds and beyond. He is neither of these worlds. Yeah? They are his manifestations, as it were.
So when Sri Krishna says, I am time, I've come to destroy the world, or when he goes through all those vibhutis in chapter 10, um, whenever he's speaking about doing anything on a cosmic scale, is he really speaking from the level of Purushottama and not as the Akshara?
Well, Akshara is also Purushottama. Akshara
Right,
is
right.
also
But
Purushottama.
Akshara, if you take it strictly, is non-active. But these are all actions, huge actions. So we could either, it seems that you could either say that's the Shara, that's the Shakti acting, or it's the Purushottama, but it wouldn't be the Akshara, the immobile.
Well, Akshara is needed to support Kshara. Without
Right.
Akshara, Kshara will not be acting. It's just not possible. Yeah? So, because it needs a foundation on the ground of which it can move and act. But both of them are, we are using the mind now, yes?
Yeah. So,
What
but
is
it's,
what?
you know,
What equals what?
it's maybe it's just prior training I had where I thought that there's the absolute, that's the Akshara, that was supposed to be Krishna. Only he was the unmanifest bliss. He was the bliss of the absolute. That's what my prior teaching prior to Sri
Yeah.
Aurobindo. And
This was,
but the moving part, it fits the the Shara, the movable, supported by the Akshara. But could you also say it's the Purushottama? It's all, Shara and Akshara put together.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. All,
Yeah.
everything is here Purushottama. This is the
Yeah.
greatest secret knowledge, that Akshara and Kshara is Purushottama. But
Right.
none of them is exclusively Purushottama. And defining, they are not defining Purushottama. They are not determining him. He is independent from them both. They are his manifestations or instrumentations in his action or something.
So
We are using the mind, which is unfortunately not allowing us to break through these definitions.
yeah. So chapter 15, there are only 18 chapters in the Gita, and it's only in chapter 15 when Sri Krishna reveals that he's the Purushottama. But before that, he talks about his vibhutis in chapter 10. He talks about himself as the creator, the destroyer, uh, the Dharma restorer, all these different cosmic functions. Um, he speaks of before he mentions the Purushottama. But it seems to me that Purushottama is necessary in order to have the separate Shara and Akshara make sense.
Absolutely, yes. This is the secret how this Akshara and Kshara coexist and help each other to work out the whole manifestation. Because, or we can turn upside down everything. Purushottama is not a necessity. We speak like this because we look from bottom up. But if we look from the top down, we will see that Purushottama is the only one which is not necessary. Yeah? All the rest is necessary here for his manifestation. He is the only one who is who he is. All the rest comes into being because he is. Yeah? And if that is not even possible to say, would be not, If he would be not in manifestation of Akshara or Akshara, he would be there in his own being, yeah? Beyond Sat and Asat, beyond this world, beyond Para and Apara Prakriti. So Prakriti will be kind of merged within him. He will not reveal his force consciousness yet in the action of the transcendental or Apara Prakriti action. So that is that supreme which Mother draws beyond Sat and Asat, you know, that figure, that particular person. She says there is a person beyond Sat and Asat. That is him, which has no name. All the names come later. All the actions of consciousness will be revealed later, if he wants them to be revealed. And they are all speaking about him alone, yeah, in different ways. This is a profound, fundamental knowledge of India. There is no greater knowledge than this. Yeah, I don't think there can be any other coming even close to this, about knowledge of the real divine. We will read how Sri Aurobindo speaks beautifully about this. But let me finish. There are only 2 shlokas to finish the whole chapter, and then we can go into Sri Aurobindo's comments. Yo mam evam asammudhah janati purushottamam Sasarva vid bhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. And the one who knows me thus, asamudha, not bewildered, Purushottama, as the Supreme Purusha. Sasarva vid, he knows all. Bhajati mam, and loves me, sarva bhavena, with all his being, O Bharata. He loves me with all his being because he recognizes the divine in every moment, in nature and beyond nature, in the transcendental and this world. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanagha etad buddhva buddhiman syat krita krityascha bharata. And thus, the most secret knowledge, Shastra, this Uktam is pronounced or is declared by me, or sinless Anagha. Etat Buddhva, having thought about it, Buddhiman Syat, one becomes thoughtful, or Buddhiman, how to put it, how Sri Aurobindo puts it.
Buddhiman, literally having buddhi, having that intelligent will.
Yes, he becomes clever is the wrong word. Intelligent is the wrong word. Sri Aurobindo found an interesting way out. Absolutely, to know it is to be perfected in understanding and successful in the supreme sense of Bharata. He kind of was looking for another way to say this Buddhiman, especially in this context, because you cannot say intelligent. The one who think about this becomes intelligent. It's too, small. Krita Krityascha Bharata, and this is interesting. Krita Kritya is the one who realized, who did everything what is to be done. There is nothing left to be done anymore for him. This is done. So his yoga is done. Now we will come back to Sri Aurobindo's beautiful expositions here. What is Akshara, what is Purushottama, if you want.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead.
You said that the Vedas are not created. Is that specifically stated in the Vedas themselves, that they are not created, that they simply are? Or is that said by in the Vedas? How is this understood that the Vedas are not created? And also the vibration, I'm thinking that if that is, of course, the truth, then the vibration that the Vedas give, of course, is the supreme vibration, which, of course, is stated in the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and so is that a good way of understanding this, or?
Well, we are trying again to understand this with the mind, but whatever we do is okay. And it is said that Vedas are apaurushaya, that is, means it was not created by man. Yes, man did not receive it from his own inspiration. It was revealed to him. It's a revelation. Yeah? Which is somewhere there in the psyche or in the soul, group soul of humanity. I think it is within the Purushottama, this idea to manifest himself in multitude creation. Yes. So Bahusyam, may I be many. And this idea is not made up by man. There's certain knowledge which is not made by us. Yeah? Which we are supposed to follow. Follow because we are the part of this enterprise. We were created for this purpose. We are this purpose. So, in that sense, the Vedas are not created by man. It's not a secondary creation. It's a primary creation for which man was created.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I
All
found
right.
it to say, to use the mind for this. It's always challenging to speak about these matters because people are usually very either religious, totally, no, Namo Namaha immediately, accept as it is, or they demand meaningful, reasonable explanation, which is also as difficult as the first one. Both are missing the point to a certain extent, of course, and to get it to a certain extent. But it is a very good challenge. If you have some other idea about it, how the Vedas are not created by man, then please share. Okay, here it is. I read only one small passage, and from that time on we will start discussion and conclude this chapter for today. The Akshara is para, supreme, in relation to the elements and actions of cosmic nature. It is the immutable self of all. The immutable self of all is the Purushottama. The Akshara is he in the freedom of his self-existence, unaffected by the action of his own power in nature, not impinged on by the urge of his own becoming, undisturbed by the play of his own qualities. But this is only one aspect, though a great aspect, of his integral knowledge. The Purushottama is at the same time greater than Akshara, because he is more than his immutability, and he is not limited even by the highest eternal status of being, Paramdhama. Still, it is through whatever is immutable and eternal in us that we arrive at that highest status from which there is no returning to birth, and that was the liberation, which was sought by the wise of old, the ancient sages. To find the Akshara Purusha is liberation. Yes? To find the unborn self, Jivatma, this is the liberation. But it is not the final liberation, not the final in the highest sense. But when pursued through the Akshara alone, this attempt at liberation becomes the seeking of the indefinable, a thing hard for our nature embodied as we are here in matter. So we have to leave everything material in order to reach to that immaterial. The indefinable, to which the Akshara, the pure intangible self here in us rises in its separative urge, is some supreme unmanifest para avyakta, and that highest unmanifest Akshara is still the Purushottama. No, notice how he's saying that it is Purushottama, and then he says, no, it's not totally Purushottama. Therefore, the Gita has said, those also who follow after the indefinable come to me, the eternal Godhead. But yet, is he more even than a highest unmanifest Akshara? More than any negative absolute, neti, because he is to be known also as the Supreme Purusha, who extends his whole universe in his own existence. He is a supreme mysterious all, an ineffable positive absolute of all things here. He is the Lord in the Kshara, Purushottama not only there, but here in the heart of every creature, Ishvara. And there too, even in his highest eternal status, Paro Avyaktah, he is the Supreme Lord, Parameshvara. No aloof and unrelated, indefinable, but the origin and father and mother and first foundation and eternal abode of self and cosmos and master of all existences and enjoyer of ascesis and sacrifice. It is by knowing him at once in the Akshara and the Kshara. It is by knowing him as the unborn who partially manifests himself in all birth and even himself descends as the constant avatar. It is by knowing him in the entirety, samagram mam. Samagram mam, it's mam most probably. It's a misprint. That the soul is easily released from the appearances of the lower nature and returns by a vast, sudden growth and broad, immeasurable ascension into the divine being and supreme nature. If our soul can really see him, or even know that he is constantly present in everything, but in everything really, and beyond everything at the same time, it will be easily released from the appearances of lower nature and returned by a vast sudden growth, vast and sudden growth, and broad immeasurable ascension into the divine being and supreme nature. For the truth of the Kshara too is a truth of the Purushottama. The Purushottama is in the heart of every creature and is manifested in his countless vibhutis. The heat in the fire, the light in the sun, that is him, He is here present all the time. This electricity which we are using to communicate over space, it is him present and working through. The Purushottama is in the heart of every creature and is manifested in countless vibhutis. The Purushottama is the cosmic spirit in time, and it is he that gives the command to the divine action of the liberated human spirit. He is both Kshara and Akshara, and yet he is other because he is more and greater than either of these opposites. This is a good place to stop. This is the ultimate knowledge. I don't think we need more knowledge. Now we have to practice it. Yeah. But if you have some more, oh yeah, I can read the final small passage and then we speak. The divine is neither wholly the Kshara nor wholly the Akshara, he repeats himself. He is greater than the immutable self, and he is much greater than the soul of mutable things. If he is capable of being both at once, it is because he is other than they, Anyah, the Purushottama above all cosmos, and yet extended in the world and extended in the Veda, in self-knowledge and in cosmic experience. So the divine is everywhere. This is the divine creation. He is present. We have to find him, see him, feel him, love him, enjoy him, and with him the whole world. Enjoy him, it sounds like. Sri Aurobindo somewhere is very directly speaking, we have to possess the divine and be possessed by the divine. He is kind of making very direct statements. Yeah? To possess and be possessed, because we are the divine. Only we don't know about that. We think to possess only ego can possess. No, there is something in us which is the divine, and it can possess the divine. All right. Otherwise I will go on. So some thoughts, ideas about the supreme present in our lives.
Well, the words that the divine can express gives, if we are, of course, completely united with the divine, he gives the command for the divine action in our lives. And, that for me is just an incredible way of understanding the divine. Because in elsewhere in Sri Aurobindo and Essays on the Gita is said that the divine is the movement of the divine is expressed time in our lives. And so I just, that is what I would really, that is what I am aspiring to do, to be able to move and through life from the command of the divine, actual literal physical movements. And so those words for me were wonderful to hear.
Yeah. If we think of what is time really, why everything moves, grows, is born and dying, it's such a mystery, time. Yeah. What a power. Longer we live, more we are wondering about it. Yes, what is this mystery? Time is doing everything. It is the divine presence in action, manifesting things, moving things forward. We don't see where forward because we have a limited time, limited span. We see very little. But even in that small span, we can kind of wonder, what is this all? And now we will go to sleep. It will be another time in the other inner worlds. Yeah? We will be spending time there, kind of trying to catch up with some inner worlds, inner beings, remember their connection, and then come back to this physical manifested being, and still time will be pushing forward everything here and there and everywhere. But the divine already gives the command to everything to happen. So you don't need to wait from him another command. You already got it. Just find him, discover him hidden behind everything. And that will suddenly push you and us all to the highest nature, which we are already. There will be sudden, vast ascension of the soul to the supreme nature. Yeah, but that's why they say that faith is everything. If you have real faith, you can see the divine then. You could feel, yeah, how faith is not enough. Yes, you try to find it there. It is a little there, but not fully there.
Well, my understanding is that faith is the aspiration. It is the, I mean, we aspire because we know that there is a higher being, that there is a divine. And so that is our faith, is our aspiration. Is that not correct?
Yeah. Sri Aurobindo says it's pre-science, or whatever this is, that it's pre-knowledge. Yeah? It's actually there already. That means if you have faith, really, not faking faith, not claiming faith, not asserting something you don't have, I believe, because you want to believe. No. But if you really believe that the divine is everything, then you have it already.
Yes. Yes, that's the work.
Yeah.
The yoga.
Yeah, it's finding one's pure self within oneself, finding him in everything. And notice it's not only going inside, it's also looking outside at the same time. This is the uniqueness of the Purushottama. In this chapter, Purushottama Yoga, he speaks about himself as Vibhutis, as the light in the sun, as the soma in the plants. He's everywhere. He's not only somewhere there in the highest heaven, sitting and hiding, which we have to climb to and find him. No, we can find him here. He wants to be found here also.
Yes, I really feel like I have to share something because I just recently found out about this, and I don't know why it took me a whole lifetime to, the concept of grounding. And there is a book written called Earthing. And they're saying, and I did this actually today, I went outside and just placed my feet right in the grass and on the soil. And they said that if you do this for 15 minutes a day, like if you're walking along the beach or walking, standing just on grass or walking through soil or whatever, you're able to heal yourself because you are grounding yourself, just like these wires, that carry all the electricity have to be grounded, and that there is something that happens in our bodies when we do this that literally heals inflammation. So I just, of course, I don't know. This is, for me, was just an absolute revelation. So I just wanted to share that.
Absolutely. I also discovered that in India. By the way, Rashi Bani was doing these exercises in the University of Surat, in our university, coming bare feet and, opening to the sky and standing on the ground with bare feet. You can't believe how you are charged with good harmonious energy, because our body can heal itself. It's a self-healer, the best healer, actually. Only you should support it, give it chance to do that. Yeah. Otherwise, all the time in electricity field, and even there, it can create its own reality and hold on to something, because everything is the divine. Yeah.
I think that experience of going barefoot it's really important, and in some cultures, and in South India, I think the Brahmins all traditionally go barefoot because there should be nothing separating them from the earth, which is, we can see it as Mother Earth, or we can see it as separation from the divine.
Yeah, in Auroville, it was such a luxury. My daughter grew up barefoot, from the age of 1.5 till when she was already 20 plus. She was still barefoot, She was used to these red soil feet, on the horses in the full moon, barefoot everywhere.
So that's a traditional way to do a pilgrimage. It's the Padayatra. The Pada is feet on the ground.
Para is beyond, actually.
P-A-D-A.
Padayatra.
Pada,
Padayatra.
pada.
Yeah.
Barefooted pilgrimage. Going barefoot pilgrimage. People go from North to South India barefoot on pilgrimage.
I saw those people, crazy,
Yeah.
crazy thing. Can't understand what it is all about, but not to judge. Yeah, they go from temple to temple, long queues of people walking, women, men with all these red saffron colors, sannyasis, everyone. Have you been through this around the full moon around Arunachalam?
No.
We've been crazy people. Yeah. But I think this is all, I don't know what it is for. I believe that the divine is here. It doesn't have to go somewhere to Arunachalam to find the divine. Yeah.
It's just for the delight. Just for the delight.
Yeah, tuning the faith, when you tune your own belief, it's like something like you have to believe, and the longer you walk, the more you tune that, sharp concentration. I don't know what it is for, truly speaking. Until now, I don't understand.
It's a form of disciplining, spiritual discipline, austerity, and a great delight, because you're doing it for the Lord. So there's a delight in it.
Questions. I never could understand this, truly speaking. Maybe it's not for me. That's what I'm lazy. I cannot walk so long for nothing. What's the point? I would rather read something and and feel the presence rather than to go somewhere so long, being tired, sweaty. Don't get it anyway.
So it's not according to your nature then, I guess. So we each seek the divine according to our own nature.
Yes.
And
Could be.
some people can walk through the night,
Yes.
some people cannot.
Yes.
Yeah. But if they could find the divine, that's great. through that walk around. There is something there, some magic, yeah, some magic. That it is real to the physical ground, that reality which holds you mesmerized.
And the belief that, there are certain places where the energy is very potent. So you go there with this padayatra, walking on foot, and then you earn the energy there, having gone through the sacrifice, so to say. Like in India, there are many temples and all in the Himalayas where it's very difficult to reach. And then you go through a tunnel crawling on all fours. And there's water flowing through the tunnel. But at the end of it, when you get the darshan, you see where the gods are kept, so to say, and you can meditate there for a short time, you feel it's been worth everything there. There's this great sense of delight in the being. It's a faith. Basically, it's the faith of the people,
Yeah. I can imagine.
I think also it's a way of allowing the body to participate in the sacrifice. Although there's an element, I'm sure, of, like in some ancient Christian practices of disregarding the body and perhaps torturing it. When I was in northern India, I saw, like you did, these people, these sadhus and sannyasins on pilgrimage. And one I remember particularly, he was walking along the side of the road, and he'd held his arm up, and he'd held his arm up for years and years, and it was just like a thin, muscleless bunch of bones, and that was his sacrifice. But I mean, that is taking it to an extreme. But that's some element in this rather. That's one of the ways they disregard the body and focus more on other types or other ways of realization, I think.
Yeah, spiritual, yes.
Yeah.
And also it creates a very powerful will if you don't give up in spite of that.
Yeah.
And that will he needs for his ascesis, because he cannot really realize that what he wants without that stubborn, totally focused, one-pointed will, in spite of life and death, whatever happens. Yeah, the end of the world, that doesn't matter. I will go my way and I will reach the goal. This kind of determinism.
One-pointed, yeah.
Yeah, but the determinism has to be tempered by intelligence and respect for the divinity within. Sri Krishna makes it very clear that the physically destructive papas is it's massive. It's about helping.
Yeah.
And Bindo makes a strong point. He emphasizes that. These are outer forms of austerity, the inner austerity, and the inner sacrifice that one account.
Yeah. Great. So, all right, we finished Purushottama Yoga, and we will continue chapter 16 next time. And have a nice evening then, and see
Happy
you.
Halloween.
Yeah.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.